Roxo Media House.
From the Flying T Club studios at Roxo Media House, this is Frogs Today. Featuring special guests, TCU assistant basketball coach Duane Broussard, plus Coach Sonny Dykes from his press conference. And we check in on women's soccer, equestrian, and rifle. And now here's your host, the voice of the TCU Horned Frogs, Brian Estridge.
Welcome into the Wednesday edition of Frogs Today. As you heard there, we got a big lineup for you. We're going to dive right in with what's happening here on the TCU campus, and there's a lot going on. First, let's go on the road, where the TCU volleyball team traveling to West Virginia for a match tonight against the Mountaineers. Now, with a win on the road, this could be their highest finish since 2015 in the Big 12. Get them in that top five, the upper echelon of the Big 12. Last time they did that, they made the NCAA tournament. See if it happens this year for Jason Williams in his first year. He's done a terrific job. Audrey Knowles, by the way, was named Big 12 Conference's Player of the Week. Third time she's grabbed that honor. First time that TCU has had that luxury here. So congratulations to TCU volleyball. Tonight against West Virginia, we'll keep an eye on that one. Women's basketball is in action as well. They'll be taking on UT San Antonio, coming off a tough one, and it was a tough one, on the road in Chapel Hill against North Carolina. Women's soccer's back in action on Friday night, round number 2 of the NCAA tournament. Set to take on Michigan State. This game will happen in South Bend. Coach Eric Bell says, well, they're on the road, but there's still no problem keeping this team focused right now.
Is it difficult to keep the team focused?
I think it's easier
than being at home.
Yeah, because you got them all corralled, they're all together, and they're all, hopefully thinking and talking about the same things, right? And so we have a chance to meet with them on a regular basis throughout the time that we're on the road, and it's an opportunity to just stay focused and have our eyes on the prize, if you will, as far as making sure that we take care of business against Michigan State.
I love following, and if you don't follow, make sure you do, the Twitter account for TCU Soccer, because you all do some really fun things when you're on the road, right? You like to entertain the team when you're out and about. Yeah,
Katie does a really good job of doing some different things to keep it lively, and her name Katie Sheets.
Okay.
And she's the person that does all the different type of content on social media, and she does a really good job, and players love her.
That's Coach Eric Bell, the head women's soccer coach here at TCU, along with Chris Gutierrez. Their show, Kicking It with Chris and EB, you can find on our website weekly at frogstoday.com as they get set now for round 2 action in the NCAA tournament, set to take on Michigan State on Friday in South Bend. All right, the TCU rifle program well underway already. In fact, they had a huge win against UTEP, but the season's just getting started, and there's a lot of high expectations for this group. Let's check in on them right now.
I'm definitely really proud of us for the first half of the season. I think we really came together as a team. A lot of us have shot really, really well. We broke an NCAA record on the first match of our season, so I think it was just a good start to the season. And since then, we've really kept the same pace and have really continued to do well.
I would say we're doing pretty good. We have a lot of amazing shooters, and every time everyone brings their A game.
We're in a good spot, but it's we won every competition this semester, but it's just not all about the wins. To me, it's about how are we performing.
We are a very strong team mentally. We come in here, we work hard, we go through all the we use SCAT, which is like a tool that we use to see our shots, shot by shot, all that stuff. I think we just come in here and really work very, very hard.
I think we just got to keep on going the way we are doing now.
The quality that we have on this team is so much higher than I think we've ever had.
This is the strongest team that I've had in the 19 years I've been here.
You're watching Frogs Today TV. Go Frogs.
TCU rifle program off to a good start here halfway through the year. Coming up next, Duane Broussard is going to join us. Jamie Dixon's assistant coach. We'll talk about that tough loss for the Frogs on Monday night against Northwestern State. Start to look ahead. Louisiana Monroe comes in town on Thursday. Frogs sitting at 2-1. We talk men's basketball with Duane Broussard next when Frogs Today continues.
Dave's Hot Chicken is a cult favorite and now has 2 locations in Fort Worth, Bryant Irvin Road on I-20 and Berry Street at TCU. Both owned and operated by Horned Frogs. Mention the Frogs Today show and get 10% off anytime and order online at daveshotchicken.com.
The Flying T Club provides the everyday TCU fan and alum the ability to specifically support TCU student athletes. Flying T Club offers 3 levels of memberships. The Flying T Club is a nonprofit organization supporting the brand development of TCU student athletes through a series of unique event-based networking opportunities, which are exclusive to our members. These events provide a great social engagement tool for our members and student athletes alike. Follow them on Instagram at Flying T Club or online at flyingtclub.com. Frogs Today continues here on the Wednesday. We told you earlier about that tough matchup for the Horned Frogs, their last outing in men's basketball against Northwestern State. Duane Broussard, the terrific assistant coach for Coach Jamie Dixon, drew the short straw. He gets to visit with me today after that matchup. Coach, this is one of those games, perfect example of how college basketball is changing. We've talked about this. We've talked about it with Coach Benford before, too. You know, you get transfers coming into programs now, and they can really change the face of a team overnight, can't they?
No question, Brian. There's a lot more parity out there than most people think, and Northwestern was probably an example of that. Their 2 or 3 starting guards that they had last night were all transfers, had experience, and they came ready to play. And we're gonna face that even more as we get further and further into our schedule.
We have seen teams here early on. If you look around the country too, it's kind of a trend. Some of those, we're going to call them mid-major teams, that can really shoot the 3 too. And you've seen that this year already in the 3 games that you faced, where 1 or 2 guys can really carry a team.
Well, I mean, I think that's what the formula is when mid-majors are playing against Power Fives. They have to have something they can go to spread us out a little bit. And if they start hitting shots, then it's going to be a long night if we can't make the adjustment. And, we have to be better in those areas of making those adjustments and guarding the 3 better and making sure that we're not letting teams, come in and feel comfortable and get into a rhythm.
I thought your guys did a much better job, though, last night running at those shooters. I mean, they just made some really tough shots, it felt like, Duane.
Oh, they did. And I tell you, and hey, listen, I'll tip my hat. We'll tip our hats to them because their game plan was pretty good. What they did was, they mixed up their defense a little bit, kind of got us off rhythm. And then offensively, they ran clock for about 10 or 15 minutes, got the matchup they wanted, and then just went and tried to score. And so when they're scoring and then we're not, and it's putting pressure on our mentality and our attitudes, I think we just started pressing a little bit too much, probably.
By the way, there was also no surprise. I happened to have a glance at your scouting report prior to the game, and you guys had laid it out pretty expressly that their guards like to post up opponents' guards, and they would do that. They would get them in a one-on-one setting, drive down, post them up, and try to work their magic, right?
Exactly. And you could see from the onset when they started playing that was going to be their game plan to get the matchup they wanted. And then isolate and then just try to go drive and make a play. And then if the defense sucked in like we did at times, kick out 3s, which is a recipe for disaster when you're not guarding that correctly. So.
All right, talk to me about your team right now. Obviously, without Mike Miles last night, on Monday night, I should say, you had Damian Baugh out now for the 6 games. That's a bigger deal than people maybe look to. Just from there are guys on a team that are sort of glue guys that kind of make everything go. And I get the sense, and I was guilty of this, Duane, of not seeing the value maybe as much in Damian Baugh as I should have.
Well, Mike Miles and Damian Baugh, remember as we started making the run last year, those 2 young men were integral parts of that. And I think their leadership and their ability to play, handling pressure, I think resonated with our group. And so then you take that experience, two really good guards, that experience, and you head into this season, and you're without Damian, who is also an emotional leader, and we've been practicing all summer long, he and Mike together. It creates a great sense of comfort with everybody else because everybody else is in their right position, Brian. And when those two aren't playing or when one's not playing, I think it creates a lot of stress in the other positions. And I think that's kind of what you're seeing. We're asking our team to do things that maybe they hadn't practiced a long period of time with, and they get out of sync. We get out of sync. And so those two in particular are very vital to what we're trying to do and to the success of this program.
Do you worry the Frogs have struggled from behind the arc here? 2 of 21 or 22 or 23 the other night. Do you worry that becomes a psychological thing? Because this team's better shooters than that. We know that.
Right.
We know Wells is a better shooter. We know O'Bannon is a better shooter. We know Jacoby Coles can step back and knock down a three. Even with those other two not on the floor, we know that can happen. Do you worry about that becoming a psychological thing, and how do you avoid that?
Well, I think there's always going to be a little bit of concern when you're not shooting the ball as well as I think we can. Okay, and I think as we get into more of the schedule and playing more teams, we're going to have to improve that. And so we've encouraged our young men to come in and work on their shots, and also build drills in practice where we can work more on that. But I think the other thing that is important, Brian, is we struggled a little bit last year in shooting, but we rebounded the ball.
Right.
Okay, we rebounded the ball. We crashed the boards. We were more physical, and I think we have to get back to doing that, which I think makes our young men more comfortable. Because I think we were categorized as a very physical, energetic team, and so if you're going to shoot, look, you can't make them all, but at least we can go and rebound those balls, and I think we have to get back to doing that as well too. And then maybe we get some easier ones, and then maybe even getting some more post touches, getting the ball inside a little bit more, so that we can play more inside out. So I think we've addressed and continue to address all those issues in our program.
I know it feels like we focused on the negative here, and I didn't mean to do that, but coming off a disappointing loss, you're sitting at 2-1. There's still a lot of positive out there. This team still has, the upside on this group is unbelievable. You got P.J. Haggerty in the game. I thought he showed some flashes too, a true freshman out there. Tyler Lundblad, I thought, gave you some nice minutes. Man, he's like me when he touches the basketball. He doesn't have a conscience. I love that, man, firing up. So there's a lot of positives here. Right, and we got to make sure that folks can, are seeing, the forest for the tree. The trees are kind of blocking it right now, these first 3 games.
No question. Well, one game does not define a season, right? One game, 2 games, they do not define a season. I think once we get back full strength, Mike and Damon in the fold, and I think the practice time and even some of the game experience for other guys on our roster that need it, that can take place during this time period, I think will bode well for the future. So I'm very excited. We're all very excited about our team. We're going to be fine. Seriously, we're going to be just fine. We got to work some kinks out. We got to shoot the ball better. We got to get back to playing defense and being physical on the boards like we were last year, because I think that's what got us here. So, hey, we're going to be just fine.
And that's what we needed to hear. Duane Broussard, the assistant coach for Jamie Dixon's team. Thanks for the time here today, man. I know your schedule's tight and busy. I appreciate you squeezing us in.
Oh, hey, thanks for your time, Brian. Thank you. All right. Go Frogs.
Coming up next, Sonny Dykes, in his own words. We'll find out what the head football coach is thinking midweek as his team prepares for Baylor at 11 o'clock on Saturday. We do that next when Frogs Today continues.
Texas-based Happy Water offers the best-tasting, sugar-free kids drink ever made. Happy Water comes in 4 delicious flavors that you can find at local retailers and on Amazon. Each pouch contains 0 grams of sugar, 0 calories, and 0% juice. Head to happydrinks.com for more information and to purchase Happy Water. That's HAPI drinks.com. Live happy, be happy, drink happy.
For exclusive interviews and content on TCU recruits, subscribe now at frogstoday.com. Any sport, anytime. It's your source for all things TCU. Only on frogstoday.com.
Say hello to the water of tomorrow. Richard's Rainwater. Richard's Rainwater is 100% rain, refreshing, renewable, and the only ingredient we use in our water. Why rain? Because everyone deserves access to clean water, and rain is a 100% renewable resource available everywhere. Drink the rain. Save the planet. Shop now at richardsrainwater.com.
You know, we've gotten much better. We've improved. I think we've improved substantially, really, the last 2 weeks. You know, I thought we played a really good defensive ball game against Texas Tech, and certainly thought we played even better Saturday against Texas. So I think we're trending in the right direction defensively. There's been times in my coaching career that, you know, I've stayed up all night, Sunday night, trying to think of ways to motivate the team. You know what I'm saying? What can we tell them this week that may or may not be true that's going to invoke and inspire the guys to practice hard and to prepare well and to, you know, give it their best effort. And, you know, we just haven't had to do that this year. You know, sometimes recruiting is a little bit like season ticket sales. You know what I mean? When you go and you do all these studies and you have success, they say it's 2 years after you have a great year that the season ticket sales are really improved. Now, I don't know. I didn't do the study, but that's what people that have done studies have told me. And I think it's a little bit that way in recruiting. I think that what you're trying to do is always establish credibility. And I think that we're still fighting for that. I mean, you know, the teams that are at the top of the recruiting rankings normally are the teams that are the top of the college football rankings. And that's just kind of, those two things kind of go hand in hand normally. I mean, look, Garrett's one of those kind of uniquely mature young people. I mean, he's 33 years old. You know, smart, you know, got a really bright future. I think the great thing that I appreciate about Garrett, and this hard to find people in this day and age that are this way, you know, Garrett probably blocks out distractions as well as anybody, you know, that I've been around. I think he just, you know, he doesn't care, you know, he doesn't care about, you know, about getting recognized or any of that kind of thing, or he's not in a big hurry to go be a head coach. I mean, he's all the stuff that you want a good assistant to be. I mean, he's just very conscientious. He works very hard. He's a team first guy. You know, and I think he's got enough confidence in himself to know that there's going to be opportunities for me at some point, and, you know, and I'll worry about that when the time comes. He's not a guy that's a self-promoter at all. He's zero.
Dave's Hot Chicken is a cult favorite and now has 2 locations in Fort Worth, Bryant Irvin Road on I-20 and Berry Street at TCU, both owned and operated by Horned Frogs. Mention the Frogs Today show and get 10% off anytime, and order online at daveshotchicken.com.
The Flying T Club provides the everyday TCU fan and alum the ability to specifically support TCU student athletes. Flying T Club offers 3 levels of memberships. The Flying T Club is a nonprofit organization supporting the brand development of TCU student athletes through a series of unique event-based networking opportunities, which are exclusive to our members. These events provide a great social engagement tool for our members and student athletes alike. Follow them on Instagram at Flying T Club or online at flyingtclub.com. For exclusive interviews and content on TCU recruits, subscribe now at frogstoday.com. Any sport, anytime. It's your source for all things TCU. Only on frogstoday.com.
Well, TCU's Equestrian program's off to a great start. 6-1 to start the year. Got to win the other day against UC Davis. Now they get a little bit of a break before they face the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State. So what do they do during that break? Let's find out right now.
It was definitely different being inside today. We've never ridden in the indoor before or showed in the indoor, so it was definitely different. The horses weren't used to it, so definitely a change, but we handled it very well.
I think we were all just playing it as we went, and we worked with the horses what they needed, and we just rode as well as we could.
I feel like everyone adjusted pretty well. Honestly, it went a little better than I thought it was going to, considering the weather today.
Our team is really a family. I live with 3 other girls on the team, and we're all really close, and we always get dinner or have dinner before the meets, and I think we've really all bonded well and are just there for each other.
I think just practicing consistently. We've been practicing very, very well, everyone on the team. just coming out and laying out a good pattern, laying the pieces out where we want them, it's definitely paid off. And I think that's the biggest thing that's been showing in the horsemanship.
I think just practice mainly, just being consistent and pushing myself to be as good as I can be like every day, and I think that's really carried through to the end of the season.
I think Louis is a horse that I'm really confident on, and I think that I just really had a good mindset going into it, was really confident in myself, and it really paid off for me today.
It goes by quick, but we still have workouts, and then I'll ride at home when we go home for Christmas break, so just staying in the saddle.
Just continue what we're doing right now, keep practicing, doing the best we can in practice, like pushing ourselves, and then coming out and doing it again.
Gonna keep riding, probably try to come free ride here, keep working out, and then keep riding with my trainer outside of school, but just making sure I keep getting on as many different horses as I can.
Get on as many horses as you can. Makes you a better rider. Good luck to the TCU Equestrian team during this break as they get ready for their next match in January. That's going to do it for the Wednesday edition of Frogs Today. Thanks to everyone who helped make this one possible. Don't forget, we need you to like, to comment, to share. Most importantly, we need you to subscribe to frogstoday.com and also to our YouTube page as well. Make sure you tell all your friends about it. Oh, and buy the merchandise as well. Got a great merchandise shop with Frogs Today stuff on it. Check it out on our website. I think I'm wearing a shirt right now. Can I do this without making it? Look, I think. Let's see, Frogs Today. You can do the same thing. Just go to frogstoday.com. For everybody here who helped make it possible, thanks for joining us. Have yourself a great night.
Frogs Today is brought to you by the Flying Tea Club, supporting TCU student athletes, and by Richard's Rainwater. Say hello to the water of tomorrow. Frogs Today is a production of Roxo Media House.
Roxo Media House.